Good morning, Intervention Group. Happy Monday. We're continuing with the Henry and Mudge phrase reading. So this is just a continuation of last week. So it sounds like this. Mrs. Hopper. At Mrs. Hopper's house, Mudge licked the gargoyle on the front door. Henry giggled. He didn't scare you, Mudge? Henry said. When Mrs. Hopper opened the door, she had a violin in her hand. She smiled at Henry. She petted Mudge. And Henry and Mudge went inside. Wow, said Henry. He had never been inside Mrs. Hopper's house before. It was like a castle. Then we are moving into our reading for today. And we have a nonfiction book. So this is a true story. It's from the Solving Problems series. So there's a problem. In this case, you're probably getting it. Geese. It's called Go Away Geese by Susan Buckley. So Central Park is a giant park in the middle of New York City, which is a huge city, but it's this really nice green big park in the middle of the big city that people really enjoy. And one of the problems that they're having is that there's just tons of geese there. So the park's very important to the people who live in New York City. They like to go to the park to see the grass, the trees, the water, and really enjoy nature. So on this one, I'm just going to read the back cover for you rather than scroll. It says, "Don't step in goose poop," it says on the back. Central Park in New York City was a place where people could enjoy nature. Then the Canada geese arrived and problems started. People want to get rid of them, but how? So when we look at the table of contents, it says what's going on here. Meet the geese, meet the dogs. The dogs meet the geese, and good idea at the end with an exclamation point. So I'm going to look at pages 4 and 5. Now, whenever you're reading nonfiction, you want to make sure that you read the heading. So the heading is orange right here, meet the geese. You always want to look at the pictures. So you've probably seen that in real life, the geese flying in a V. You read the caption that goes with the picture. Canada geese fly together in a V shape. The geese take turns flying in front of the lead, or to lead the flock. And then this is what would be called a sidebar, which is usually really interesting. You always want to read that too. So this little sign is giving you facts about Canada geese. So an adult Canada goose can weigh 20 pounds, about the same as a very large cat or a small dog. Canada geese live in ponds, lakes, and marshes. Canada geese eat grass, grains, and berries. So these geese are called Canada geese because they come from Canada or they come from Alaska. So they used to fly south for the winter. So when it got cold, they would go south where it's warm and they could still get to grass. But in places like Central Park in New York, so they'd fly south, then they would come back. But they actually started to settle down, some of these geese, and they wouldn't ever leave. So they began to raise families in those southern places, or they settled down and raised families in the southern places, but there were too many geese. So what would happen with too many geese? So the idea is they wouldn't leave. So they just started to raise their families, and then their families would stay. So for a long time, there was a certain number of geese, and it was kind of okay. But then they started to get more and more and more and more. So here we have a picture of a border collie type of dog. So farmers use border collies to herd sheep. So shepherds talk, dogs listen. Most dog owners use commands like sit and stay to tell their dogs what to do. Shepherds use special commands. They use words, whistles, and hand signals to tell their dog where to go and what to do. So this guy named David Marcus, he worked at a golf course. And he had used border collies to scare off geese. So there's a good picture of border collies. So these dogs are famous for herding sheep. And when we look at page 10, that's the border collies control the sheep by giving them the eye, they call it. So that means the dogs look at the sheep with a hard, steady stare. And you can see the dog in the picture he's given the eye. So border collies have a natural skill, but they need some training to work with the geese. So people who train the geese are actually called handlers. So there's a picture of, I don't know if that's David or not, but oh no, that's Brian. So he's one of the handlers, and there's a company called the Geese Police. So they're the ones who are in Central Park chasing those geese away. So you even see these handlers. I think that's Brian again. Sometimes they'll even put the dogs in kayaks or canoes so they can get to where the geese are. Kind of funny. So they can give the eye actually from the kayak or the canoe too. So as you read, you're really supposed to think about how smart the dogs are and how they do a good job helping the people, and kind of making those people of New York happy. All right, enjoy reading. Good book. When you're done, you can go ahead and watch that video too.